Well, as is the case with most of our live shows, 30 minutes just is not enough. We've got great engagement from the chat. Kylen, Mills, and I are rolling. So we're splitting it up into two parts. Here's part 2 of Locked On Warriors.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Dario Šarić was undoubtedly the team's big offseason free agent acquisition, right? I actually think Šarić is going to be more important for this team than Chris Paul, in all honesty. He's playing in, I believe these are the Olympic qualifiers, if I'm not mistaken. Let me find where I got the stat from and see if it mentions that. Yeah, these are the Olympic pre-qualifying group play. And so Dario Šarić, and he's playing alongside Zubac. I think he's playing for Serbia. In a game against the Netherlands, put up 13 points, put up 6 rebounds, had 12 assists. He also had 3 steals. He was a plus 11 in terms of his net rating. The clips that I saw of him, and this is courtesy of the Dario Šarić Muse Twix account. What are your thoughts? I mean, I don't know if you had a chance to see the clips. He played almost like a point guard at times, like he was running the floor. I loved it. I mean, it was poetry to me in terms of a basketball clip. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but what was your reaction to that?
I was very impressed. I think his vision and passing is the thing that stands out. I saw a couple of clips where he was, delivering no-look passes beautifully for a big. That's an impressive skill set that not all bigs have. And you mentioned him being able to run the floor, something that Draymond's also able to do. But I think that versatility is a huge advantage in the Warriors offense specifically because it's very free flowing. It's something you and I have talked about a lot where there doesn't necessarily need to be a, defined point guard in a traditional sense. Yes, in certain circumstances, but if you have a big who can deliver like that, who can pass, it's a motion offense, there's a lot going on. I think it's going to be a major asset. So that was the thing that stood out to me was the vision, the technique on the passing, no looks in a couple of clips. So I think all of that is very, very positive and would work well with what the Warriors have going on right now.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I am super, super excited with the Dario Šarić signing. Real quick, by the way, I might have found the clip. I don't know if this is it. I've not been able to screen this because we're recording this live right now. I'll give this one shot. This might be the clip, though, of Juan Toscano-Anderson complaining publicly about, or I don't know if complaining is the right word, but take a watch. This is courtesy of your new employer, Kylen, NBC Sports Bay Area. He was answering a question during a post-game press conference regarding his reduced role. This was during the championship season.
To the Knicks in the third, fourth quarter.
I think the only difficult part is just having the desire to play. I love this game. This is my life right here. I put so much effort and, emotion into this game. So I just always want to play. But at the end of the day, I'm an adult and I'm understanding of what my job and what my role is on this team. So, and I'm accepting of that. I could sit here and pout about it, but what good is that going to do? And it's all about perspective, man. I was telling Connor earlier, it's just about perspective, man. I could be anywhere else in the world. I could be on any other team. I could be on a losing team. I could be back in the G League. But I'm on the best team in the NBA, my hometown team. I get to play with Hall of Famers. It's perspective, man. So, I want to play more, of course. Everybody wants to play. But at the end of the day, as a grown man, you got to wake up and do your job. And that's what my job is. My job is to get my team a spark off the bench. And whenever I'm needed and my number's called, I got to perform. So just staying ready, man. That's not difficult at all. I've been through tougher stuff in my life. So perspective.
Perspective is huge. So it was not exactly what I was saying. He didn't really say that he could play more in other teams, but he was complaining. He didn't seem really happy. Do you think that clip led to him trying out instead of being on the team this year?
No, I don't think so at all. Having heard the clip, now to me, like, no player who's competitive is going to say, yeah, I enjoy, having a minimized role and only playing a couple of minutes a night and not even getting into any game. Like, no competitor who's made it to the professional level is going to say, yeah, I love doing that. I didn't think that he was whining. I think that he approached it in a professional way, talking about how he knows his role. And to me, he pointed out the fact that the team is winning versus the fact that he could be on, losing teams or teams that are struggling, just to point out that he is aware and recognizing how fortunate he is to be in the situation of being on a championship caliber team, which they would end up becoming, the NBA champions that season. But I don't think that it was whining. I don't think that it was, in any way, shape, or form criticizing the organization or his playing time. So to me, that doesn't seem like enough for him to, now to possibly, along with your conspiracy theory, for the organization to be trying to send him a message by making him try out because, he had made comments. Hearing the comments now word for word, I don't think there was anything there.
Yeah, but again, I didn't think there was anything there when Quinndary Weatherspoon said what he said. I honestly didn't think there was much there when Kuminga said what he said.
And you know what? Yeah, the Quinndary Weatherspoon thing is also really interesting. So you said a source told you that because of his comments that's why they didn't end up signing him?
Yes, exactly. There was one clip because he was going to be on his fourth two-way deal, and that's the max amount. And I think it was after a summer league game or something like that. And he basically came out and said that he thinks he's deserving of a guaranteed deal. I'll see if I can find that soundbite as well. So yeah, there you go. So maybe my conspiracy has nothing to it. You never know. There you go. That's welcome to summer.
I still think it's weird that JTA is having to try out. I do not think that comment could possibly be the reason, but who knows what the actual reason is, because I don't have a better guess because I do think it's odd.
Yeah, it's just weird. It is weird. What are your thoughts on this summer? Yeah, and Greg King, I do totally agree with you there, by the way, in terms of rebounding, that it is much harder to grab rebounds when you're defending the perimeter, and that is a lot of what Kuminga does. Andre, by the way, is asking who's going to win out in the tryout. I forgot to mention Kent Bazemore is one of the players as well. I've been thinking about it. Like, my preference, I think, is by a very slim margin, Harry Giles III. Just because he is a freak of nature athletically. Injuries have been the reason why he hasn't played, and why he's available right now, in all honesty. But I would have zero complaints if Juan Toscano-Anderson got that roster spot as well. He can rebound. He was at times playing center on that championship team. He knows the system. It would be a very smooth transition for him. In terms of chemistry, people were complaining last year the bench didn't look like they were having fun. He would change that. So I have no objection if Juan Toscano-Anderson gets that role. But Harry Giles is, if you get the best version of Harry Giles III, that is like a 6'11" athletic freak who is showing he can shoot three now. I think his career three-point percentage is not great. It's like 33%. They've always expected more of him. But nonetheless, that's my thoughts on it. What do you think?
To me, I would like to see Juan Toscano-Anderson come back. Like, that's actually the number one player when I saw the list and the rumors about who was going to be trying out and whatnot. To me, it's just the culture fit and the chemistry piece are super important. Something was off last season. And I don't think bringing a guy like that back is a bad thing. You mentioned he brings the rebounding. He can play defense. The fact that he even played the small ball five is kind of ridiculous, but I just think that just hearing that clip reminded me of how professional he is and how well he fit in with this Warriors team. Not a player that's ever going to pout on the bench, always brought just elite energy. And I think that there's something to be said for that when you don't know what you're going to get with some of these other players.
Yeah.
I do think, though, that Kent Bazemore would make me laugh because Kent Bazemore took a lot of crap from Dub Nation. And when I saw him on that list to try out again, I was like, oh, no, people are going to lose their minds. Kent Bazemore comes back. Oh, no. But to me, and then, JTA brings size, which I think is a good thing at this point. Down lower on the bench, why not at least add a little bit of depth in terms of a player who can rebound or play the four. If he's healthy, we should at least give him a two-way. I don't see why not.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. If Juan Toscano-Anderson comes back, I'm perfectly fine with that. Well, I don't know about you folks, but with football season just around the corner, I am pumped. And so too is the official sports book of the Locked On Podcast Network, FanDuel. Football season is about to kick off, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to win all season long, because right now when you bet on a Super Bowl winner, you can get bonus bets every time they win in the regular season. Just pick any team to win the Super Bowl, and you'll get bonus bets for every victory. You can use your bonus bets on spreads, player props, over-unders, and much more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and start earning bonus bets with America's #1 sports book. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. For the everydayers, follow us on Twix at Locked On Dubs, where we announce our show times, upcoming guests, all that good stuff. Scotty Farrell, a broadcasting legend, is going to join the program next week, and we're still waiting on official confirmation for a Golden State Warriors assistant coach to join the program, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, Ken Bazemore, I'm reading all the criticism in the chat. Get it. Makes no sense. He is Stephen Curry's close friend. I mean, I don't know if that factors into this. It is a little weird, though, that he's getting a tryout. Shifting gears, Kylen, if you're ready to move on from this topic real fast. It looks like we're going to go an hour, so we got 20 more minutes here. If that works for you, Kylen, thank you so much. Yeah. In the news recently, it was revealed that Bob Myers, the former general manager and president of basketball operations for the Golden State Warriors, was hired by ESPN. He's going to be part of the Countdown crew. I personally love this for a lot of reasons. Chief among them, I don't feel like Stephen Curry has enough advocates for him in the media. When I say media, let's be more specific and say the two giants, ESPN and TNT. Stephen A. Smith was on Paul George's podcast recently, and this is why I'm thinking of this right now. First of all, congrats to Bob Myers for getting that gig. It sounds like a fun opportunity now that he's no longer running the Warriors. But Andre, for example, you're right. I don't want to hear what Bob has to say right now, but he's going to be a Steph Curry advocate. I mean, he's a voice supporting the Golden State Warriors star player. So, and the reason why I bring this up and why I think it's a little more important than you might think initially is because of this clip from again, this is from the Podcast P show. This is Paul George's podcast. Stephen A. Smith was on there, and he has this story about Rich Paul. Rich Paul manages Clutch, the sports agency. He's LeBron James's childhood friend. And I thought this was fascinating, and we'll get into this in just a moment. Here is Stephen A. Smith on his experience with Rich Paul.
You see what I'm saying? You got LeBron. He used to drive me crazy with this. And that's why I came up with the tick on television. When I said, great dad, great husband, great director, great actor, great businessman. I did all of that. I said, did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? Because I got him as the second best player in the history of basketball. I got him ahead of Kareem. I got him behind no one but Jordan. And I said to Mr. Chirper himself, Rich Paul, my boy, and I said, you act like that's an insult. This dude, it is an insult. I said, get the fuck out of my face. Get the fuck out of my face. This is exactly what I said to him. I don't want to talk to you no more. You can't talk to me about it. When you going to treat me like I'm disrespecting a man by calling him in the history of the game that started in 1947, you're going to tell me that I am disrespecting a man by having him number 2 all the time. You have lost your damn mind. I'm not talking to you. And so what I'm saying is this. You got cats that want the lofty accolades. They want to be renowned for this, and they want to be recognized as that. But LeBron, and you know this, you're going to start laughing when I say this, because he's done this before. LeBron. Because I'm the best in the world. During the finals. Remember that? He's playing goes, I'm the best in the world, which he was. But, you know, that's how he felt, blah, blah, blah. They lose. Another year, wasn't the same series. Another year. I'm just trying to be best father that I could be. And, be a good role model. God damn it, nobody's talking about that, man. You know good and damn well we talking about that damn jump shot you was shooting where you shot 2 for 10. Stop it. We nobody's questioning your character. You didn't ball that day. You didn't ball. Why you gonna go there? You trying to be slick. You're damn right he did it. And it's like you're trying to be slick. Can we stick to ball, please? Nobody questioned your character. Nobody sat up there and said you're a scourge of the earth. You're not a role model. We don't love you. We don't care about you. Yo. You fucked up. You played bad that day. You'll play good tomorrow, but you play bad.
All right. And what really came out, the reason why I played that clip largely is because of just how many people in the media are advocates for LeBron James. I mean, he has so many people in his corner. And I didn't realize like how much Rich Paul behind the scenes pushes this narrative that LeBron James is the greatest ever. Side note, I'll have this debate on another show all day, every day. Michael Jordan, to me, I don't think it's even a debate. I think it's ridiculous that LeBron is uttered in the same conversation with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was at a level that no one has ever touched. And again, that's a debate for another show. But my point is, Rich Paul is out there giving people grief if they don't say that LeBron James is the GOAT. That's crazy. So that's why I'm happy that Bob Myers is now part of the ESPN crew. So there's someone, at least one person, who is in Steph's corner. Kylen, your thoughts?
I'm excited to see what Bob brings. I think he is a guy who has been really informative, enjoyable to listen to when he was up on the podium, speaking of as the Warriors GM. He clearly knows the game inside and out. Great basketball mind, good evaluator in terms of talent, helped get the Warriors to, the point they're at today with this last dynasty, winning so many championships. So I'm very excited to see what his takes are on the rest of the NBA, because we've really only heard from Bob on a podium as the, Warriors GM, giving his, I don't want to say like politically correct takes, but yeah, politically correct takes. You can only say so much as a general manager. Like, you can't be critical. You can't, I know he was oftentimes very positive, but you have to massage things in a certain way when you're speaking to the media about players within your own organization. So I'm very excited to see what more of his unfiltered comments are about not just the Warriors, but teams and players across the NBA, because I think he's clearly a great evaluator, very good in terms of the analytics as well, which is what helped get the Warriors to the point they're at today. And I'm excited to see what his takes are. As far as Steph Curry needing an advocate, I mean, I just don't think that across the board he gets as much credit as he deserves from national media, from not like one or two networks, not like pointing or singling anyone out. I just feel like Steph Curry isn't necessarily regarded and isn't as, I don't know, isn't as celebrated as he should be. I don't really know why or what it is, but I think it'll be exciting to see. I think that it's definitely going to shine a new light on Steph Curry to have Bob Myers out there in the media. And he's someone who knows Steph extremely well, knows all the work he puts in behind the scenes. And, I think that he could shed a different light on not just Steph Curry as a player, as a person, why he's one of the most incredible athletes and leaders of this generation. So I'm very excited to see his takes on Steph, but I'm also excited to see just everything else that Bob brings, because we're going to be getting more of an unfiltered Bob. So I think that's going to be really cool.
I'm totally with you. I don't think any of us have any idea what to expect. There was that one famous clip of Bob Myers when he was at this annual conference he used to go to at MIT, talking about the difference between regular season and postseason play. That was really eye-opening to me. He shared nuance of the game that.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and we played it on the show before. I'll play it again on another day if anyone's interested. But anyway, so I'm very curious to see how Bob Myers fits in with that crew. Malika Andrews is also now leading the NBA Countdown crew, replacing what's his name? I'm brain farting right now. Mike, I don't know, whatever. The longtime dude who hosts the morning show on ESPN. What are your thoughts, by the way? I'm going to read this real fast, Kylen. Shifting gears, there is a mid-season or in-season tournament now in the NBA. Do you have any? Before we get into the specifics of it, are you for it or against it?
Or against the mid-season tournament?
Yeah. Or maybe you don't have a.
So I don't love it. Like, I just don't see why these kinds of things are necessary. But it's something that's happening across sports. Like, this isn't just the NBA that's doing this midseason tournament stuff. It's something the MLS just implemented. It's something that you see a lot in overseas sports. And like I said, soccer specifically, there's all kinds of midseason tournaments, international competitions going on, which I think is just bizarre. I'm not a huge fan. So I just,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not super excited about it. I don't know. What do you think?
I think a lot of people are going to wait and see, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of like wait and see. Maybe I'll love it. Maybe I'll be swayed. Like, I feel like it's unnecessary, but maybe it'll be really cool and awesome. I don't know.
Yeah, I wish there was a bigger prize for the winning team.
Yeah,
I mean, players get, I think, $500,000 each, which is no small change. I mean, especially if you're an end of the bench guy, that's a nice sum of money. But I do wish there was a reward, like maybe a first round pick. Maybe you get like a number 15 pick goes to the winner. Maybe you get an extra 20 million in salary cap relief. Something. I don't know. I would have liked that, but at least the cool thing is, for me, that the game is going to count, or the games are going to count in terms of the regular season. And I think it's transparent in terms of why they're doing this. The NBA goes through a slog in November, December. Like, nobody's really that into it until Christmas Day. That's like the unofficial opening day for the NBA, even though at that point it's been going on for nearly 2 months. So this is something to drum up interest. The winner of this thing will get the NBA Cup, which is the in-season tournament trophy. But I'll read this. I'll read these two paragraphs for everyone, so you have kind of a better understanding in terms of what to expect. Because the schedule has been released. So 8 teams are going to advance to the playoffs of this tournament, right? You basically have like 6 groups, and the Warriors are in group, I don't know, it's just a letter I think they're giving to each of these groups. The teams in the Warriors group include the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Sacramento Kings, and the San Antonio Spurs. So we're going to see Wembanyama come to Chase Center as part of that. And so out of these 4 games that the Warriors and everyone else will play, the Warriors are going to play the Thunder, Timberwolves, Spurs, and Kings. 8 teams will advance out of these 6 groups, and they're going to have 2 wild cards into the knockout rounds. And these are going to be single elimination games. And then from there, they're going to compete for a prize pool. That's $500,000 each, and the trophy, the NBA Cup. And all the 22 teams that don't advance into the tournament are going to be assigned 2 regular season games, 1 home and 1 away, that are going to be played in early December. The actual NBA schedule, the full schedule, is going to be released tomorrow. We're recording this on August 16th right now. So I don't know how well I describe the tournament, but that's what it comes down to. It's just, it's going to count toward the regular season, which I think is awesome. So the stats are going to count. These games will matter in that regard. Any last thoughts on that, Kylen, before we...
No, I agree that I just feel like the incentives are a big part of the problem. Like, what is the motivation for players to compete and want to win this tournament? And what's going to stop them from load managing? And it's something that you see a couple people point out in the chat as well. They do this a lot in Europe. So like, I get it. But like, for example, in soccer, they have some midseason tournaments, and some teams choose to just rest all of their starters, all of their stars, the guys they don't want to put too many miles on the legs, especially like a team like the Warriors, for example, where a lot of the players are older. Like, what's to stop teams from using this as an opportunity to just, throw out whoever, get their guys some rest, and, at the end of the day, like, what's the major motivation to win the whole cup? You're muted. You're muted. Cyrus, you're muted.
No, you're good. Thank you for that. Sorry. Thanks for letting me know. So just wanted to finish up, just let people know what this in-season tournament entails. It's going to be 4 games within the, thank you for Sean Stanley in the chat for pointing this out. It's Group C West. That's where the Warriors are in. There's nothing flashy about the name of their group, but yeah. So, and then each group will have the best team advance to the tournament. there will be 2 wildcard teams. So 2 second-place teams will also advance. Or I guess maybe it could be 1 third-place team in there as well. Yeah, so that's the in-season tournament.
I like your idea of throwing a draft pick in the mix. I think that's smart. Something like that like adds a little bit extra. Another idea, someone said it in the comments that I like, that was like they should play games on neutral sites. Okay,
yeah.
So Douglas Mike suggested that. I actually love that idea. I love the idea of playing on neutral sites. I love the idea of the games being played in non-NBA markets, because I think that would be fascinating.
I do like that.
Okay, I don't even know what non-NBA markets are anymore, but like throwing them into college town, throwing them into a Louisville. I don't know. I'm just thinking of random cities.
Oh, totally. Yeah, Spokane, Washington.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. People would go nuts. People would go nuts. Like, hey, we're having this neutral site in, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too crazy with this one. But I think neutral sites are a good idea. But I've been taking it a step further and playing in like non-NBA markets and like seeing if they get, some excitement. And in cities that don't have NBA, they may be thirsty for, professional basketball to come to their backyard. They may be dying to see professionals play. So I don't know. I would like to see them shake up something with it a little bit. Whether it be better incentives or something a little different. So, someone pointed out the legacy piece that, oh, hey, well, now you can say you've won this. And, and if a team goes on to win the NBA championship, that, just kind of furthers the resume. Like, I get that. But is that interesting enough to make people want to watch during a time where, like you mentioned, people aren't particularly interested in the NBA in that like November, December leading into Christmas Day? Like,
yeah, no, I'm totally with you. But it's a hard time of year when all the focus on Aaron Rodgers getting crushed because of a weak offensive line, or Trey Lance, right on the heels of Brock. Yeah, the whole narrative in sports is football until January, so or even February. So no, I'm totally. I hear you on that. It is marketing. That's what this is. It's marketing.
Hi, Bubs.
Oh, yeah. We just got a few more minutes here. I want to play this soundbite.
He's not a fan. Bubs is not a fan of the midseason tournament.
He's not a fan at all. Absolutely not. He is
also someone. Richard Sarpong just mentioned too. They could guarantee a playoff spot to the winner of the in-season tournament. Instead of doing a play-in in one of the, I don't know if that would work. Instead of one of the play-in spots, like, give that to the winner of the in-season. I don't know. I'm just saying.
No, I hear what you're saying. The incentive there should be more of an incentive. I'm with you. Look, this is marketing at its finest. The NBA just came up with something that's gonna maybe draw interest. It's something for them to hype in November and early December. So David Sass, Albuquerque, Mobile, Alabama. I mean, we could come up with a million names.
Dude, I'm being serious. Like, I think that would be fun to see, like, some of these NBA teams go to random cities that just don't have basketball to play in collegiate arena.
Absolutely. No, I'm totally with you. Yeah. And this is probably ideas that'll come in future years for this tournament. I want to quickly play this clip because it's been all over the news. And by the way, actually, before they play this clip, one other thing real fast. I looked up Paul George's stats because I feel like it would be fair in terms of rebounding to I feel like Paul George is a good barometer, right? Like Paul George is the same height as Jonathan Kuminga. They seem to have the same physical stature. Both players are lean. They play almost more like guards than they do like, low post type bigs. Paul George for his career is averaging 6.4 rebounds per game. In year 3 of his career, his average went up from 5.6 to 7.6. And his best rebounding year, he averaged 8.2 rebounds per game. Just this last season, he averaged 6.1. So Kuminga could grab more. I like 6. I like 6. Like, is that a good number? 6 and above, and we're happy?
Yeah, I felt like 6 and above is okay. I think 8 is a reach. But I think he definitely should be in the 6 to 8 range for sure.
I'm totally with you. So there you go. All right. So I think that's fair. I'm just trying to find a fair number for Jonathan Kuminga so that whether or not we should be criticizing his rebounding efforts. But so 6. All right. I think that's fair. I like that. I want to play this clip real fast of James Harden just because he's been in the news. This clip has been absolutely riveting for a lot of reasons. You rarely hear NBA players just publicly call out their
No,
team
this
leadership.
is wild.
Yeah, it is absolutely wild. So this was James Harden in China. He was at this camp. The individuals in the camp were allowed to ask questions, and then one of the questions asked pertained to Harden and the fact that he's probably going to stay in Philadelphia because they couldn't find a trade partner. So here is Harden's response to that, and it's gold.
Dario Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Dario Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of.
He's like, let me say that again. He repeated that. He wanted everyone to be crystal clear in terms of what he was trying to say. I absolutely love it. To me, like take who James Harden is out of the equation. All right. To me, the focus of this should be a player whose nickname is Dork Elvis. His real name is Daryl Morey. He's the GM of the Philadelphia 76ers. I consider him to be the most overrated general manager in this game. I've never understood the hype. To me, an over-reliance on analytics is just basketball is the wrong sport for that. You find any dominant special player out there, and I guarantee you did not need statistics to know that. Like the eye test is very valuable in basketball. I don't know if you could say the same thing about baseball, football. I think it depends. But in basketball, to me, stats are they just don't carry a lot of weight. I think they complement, they help. But if you're using stats to construct a roster, you're not going to succeed. You're not. You might come close. He came close with the Rockets, but he didn't actually succeed. What are your thoughts on this whole scenario? It's crazy to me. We'll finish the show with this.
Mind blown by the whole scenario. When I saw that clip come out, I was just like trying not to laugh because it is just such an odd setting for James Harden to make those statements about Morey. I mean, it's just, he's at a camp, and I know he was asked about it, but you still can use a filter. You don't have to go off like that. Like, I could just imagine being in that room and everyone's just like, what?
Like, what? What?
I mean, it's just, to me, this is a major failure. I mean, everything that I've been reading and talking to even people that I know that are Sixers fans is they're just disgusted with what's happened in Philadelphia. You know, Joel Embiid has just, it's been a major disservice to him and the talent that he has. And, you know, I just think it's unfortunate the way that everything has shaken out. I mean, it's not new for a star player like this to be, you know, discontent, but like for him to be that public about it, James Harden, it has to be bad. In my opinion, it has to be bad.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Like I said, I feel for Joel Embiid because this is a team that should have won a championship with him, to me, and they just haven't been able to figure it out.
Yeah, it's an absolute mess. I'm very fascinated to see what Joel Embiid does long term here with Philly. I agree with everyone saying it wasn't professional. It wasn't.
No, it's not. It's not professional. That's what I'm saying. You're asked about it. You don't have to give that answer. Like, that may be the truth, and that may be what you think, but to like say that, I just.
Oh my God.
What is happening? But like I said, I assume it must be bad. Whatever is happening, it must be bad. And honestly, it's still unclear to me exactly like what went wrong.
Oh, I can tell you that. So basically, what happened basically here is that James Harden opted in to this $35 million player extension, right? It was the final year of his contract. He didn't have to. It was a bleak free agent market.
Yep.
So he opts in, asks for a trade. The team apparently says yes. And this is where I point the finger at Daryl Morey, because who would ever want to make a trade with this guy when all he does is publicly say he's the smartest guy in the room? Every trade that is involved with him, he's trying to swindle the opposition. No one would in the right mind would ever want to make a trade with Daryl Morey. So he's put himself in this box where other GMs look at him and go, nah, that guy's going to try to rip me off. No, thank you. And so he can't make any trades. Like it's that where he's going to get back something of equal or close to equal value. So there's no James Harden trade market out there. I mean, the Clippers wanted him. There was supposedly a deal on the table there, and they can't trade him. They decide they want to keep him. James Harden did not sign a max extension last year because the contract they ended up signing was cap friendly. So they could bring in PJ Tucker so that they could try to win a championship. Supposedly there was a verbal agreement there where James Harden and Daryl Morey made a deal verbally. It wasn't on paper that Harden was going to get a max extension after last season. And I don't know what happened there. I think that's where things went south is the 76ers changed their mind on that. They decided you're not really worth extended max money. You're what, 34 years old. We saw what you did in the playoffs last year. You no-show for half these games, and we're just not going to give it to you. And I think, and that's where James Harden is really pissed off. I think that he got promised money that he didn't get. So he publicly gripes about it, and they're now in the mess they're in. Kylen, go into your sandwich. You've been doing this.
I did just read something, though, kind of different than that, about when reading about the whole situation as to what led to, you know, his frustration coming out of the camp and calling Morey a liar, was that he opted into the last year of his contract, but it was on the condition that the Sixers trade him to the Los Angeles Clippers. And that's what he's mad about.
I don't know. Maybe I haven't heard that part of it, but I think he just wants to get traded and they won't trade him.
Yeah.
And he's pissed because he's pissed first that he didn't get the max extension. So then he's like, all right, I'll opt into this last year of my contract. So, and then please trade me to someone and I'll get a new deal there. And they're not going to trade him now. So,
Sports Illustrated reported NBA insider gives update on James Harden, you know, wanting a trade to the Clippers. So I think specifically he wanted to go to the Clippers, and apparently that ain't happening.
No, because the Clippers supposedly won't include like these extra players that Philly wants. And so Daryl Morey is like, nope, I'm not doing this trade. And
yeah, I read that was the condition, though, of him signing, which means, you know, you're making promises that you're not keeping. If that are the case, you know, from whatever is being reported by various sources.
Exactly.
And then not getting the max extension, obviously, like you said, there's a lot at play, but it was that just, you think you've seen it all, and then you see something and you're like, huh.
Exactly. It's just a mess. It's an absolute mess.
A total mess.
The Warriors are not in that mess, thank goodness. Douglas Mikes also brings up how Kristaps Porzingis, I don't remember anyone really clamoring per se for Porzingis, but I do remember people when they saw that trade thinking, what are the Warriors going to do here, right? And look, since then they got Dario Šarić. I'm perfectly happy with him. Like Kristaps Porzingis, I never really was like, you know, I don't think anyone was begging for him. But anyways, Douglas Mikes brings up the fact that Kristaps Porzingis has an injury that is a nuisance. It's plantar fasciitis. You've had that before too, right?
Yeah,
Kylen?
super painful, awful.
It is, and I don't think
it's
there's
hard
any
to get rid of.
It's hard to It's hard to get rid of. It's almost like that injury is on its own timetable. It might take 6 months, could take a month, could take a year. That's a brutal injury. So the Celtics now have to deal with that. You're absolutely right. But I don't remember if the Warriors anyone was really clamoring for Porzingis per se. But I hear you in the sense that right now, on this date, August 16th, the Warriors have no serious injuries to worry about. So that's a good thing. We'll take that. We'll take that positive news. Go enjoy your sandwich, Kylen. Thank you so much for doing an hour with me. Thank you, everyone. Any final words? Any final thoughts? Did we forget anything?
No. I did get a taco, though. So someone mentioned the tacos from Jack in the Box. So I actually did. I forgot. I was looking at my bag. I got a taco with my sandwich. So
just one?
Know how it is.
It's a single taco?
Yeah, just one.
That's all lonely in there. Well, you gotta go hang out.
I didn't want to get a side of fries. I feel like fries are worse than a taco, but I'm also starving, so I didn't eat all day. Anyways, no one cares about any of this. It was great to see you, Sai. Good to catch up. Off season rolls on.
Absolutely.
Warriors are inching closer to showing up for, you know, preseason. There's videos of Klay Thompson looks good. That's another guy.
Yes.
Posting workouts. Also posted his typical, you know, vitamin C post that I feel like he does every single summer, where he's out in an ocean and on a boat and whatever. So hopefully he comes back refreshed. Jonathan Kuminga, I think, looks good. Another guy we didn't talk about is GP2, played a little bit in the Pro-Am up in Seattle. He looked bouncy in the clips. He looked more like old GP2, which is what we're excited to see. So it's all good in the hood.
Yes, it is. And Shaquille O'Neal was performing at Outside Lands, and during his performance, Gary Payton II was up there. I don't know if he was rapping with them, but he's certainly dancing up there with them. And Shaq
It was
during
a
the
vibe.
performance,
It was such a vibe.
it was a vibe. And Shaq predicting the Warriors will win the title this year. I always respect Shaq's predictions. He gets it right a lot. Charles Barkley, no, not so much. But Shaquille O'Neal gets it right a lot. So if he's predicting the Warriors to win the whole thing, that's a good thing. It's a good piece of news. I like that. Yeah, good stuff. Are we done? Are we out?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kylen. And we'll be back at this soon. Follow the program on Twitter at Locked On Dubs. That's where we let people know what's coming up. So make sure you track us there. Follow Kylen Mills on all social media platforms at Kylen Mills. Follow me on Threads at Dog Wild. Bye-bye, everyone. It was fun, as always. Bye, Kylen.
See ya later.
Oh,
Always gotta go out and